What's up, everybody? Eric here with another EWE Reviews. Today we're going to be talking about Dungeons & Dragons Honor Among Thieves. Before we get into that, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, let me know what you thought about the movie in the comments down below. Let me know what you thought about this review, guys. Alright, so let's get into it. This is a spoiler-free review, guys. Yeah, spoiler-free. So let's start in with some movie information. So this movie officially comes out on March 31st, 2023. If you guys are watching this video on day of release, you'll see that it's March 27th, 2023. I did watch an early screening, so just letting you guys know about that. The directors for this movie are Jonathan Goldstein and John Francis DeLay. The cast includes Chris Pine, Michelle Rodriguez, Regé Jean Page, Justice Smith, Sophia Lillis, and Hugh Grant. That's the main cast for this movie with a runtime of 134 minutes. And for this movie, since it was an early screening, the only format that was available was a standard movie format, so that's what I watched it in. So let's talk about the plot. And again, since it's spoiler-free, I'm just going to talk about what you can see in the trailer. This group of thieves stole something they were not supposed to steal for someone that definitely they shouldn't have been stealing it for. And that's the basic plot. Now they're trying to right their wrongs, and there's going to be a lot of things like dungeons, dragons, and things like that in this movie. So there's magic and things like that, and they're trying to have this group of heroes go and save the day. It's a very common plot, but it actually works really well in this movie because of things I'll talk about right now in my thoughts on the movie. But yeah, that's the basic plot. They stole something they weren't supposed to steal. Now they're trying to fix everything. So now let's actually go to my spoiler-free thoughts on the movie. So my first thing is that I really enjoyed this movie. I thought it was a lot of fun, which surprised me. If you watch the trailer, part of me is thinking like, all right, it's a fun vibe, but it's like, how much of it is just, you just showed everything in the trailer and the actual movie's kind of gonna suck? And surprisingly, no, the trailer does show a good amount, but the movie itself is still a lot of fun to watch. Even though you know some of the things that are gonna happen, it puts it in a good way that I actually really enjoyed. Now, if you watch many of my reviews at this point for movies, you know that one thing I hate is long movies. Not because I hate directly that movies are long, and when I'm talking about long, I mean more than 2 hours. It's just like, how much of that movie did you really need to put in there, or how much of it just filler that you just threw in? And this movie, surprisingly, like, there's parts where I think it's filler, and then it actually serves a purpose later in the movie. I'm just like, you know what? You guys got me there. You actually made sure that even though your movie's a little bit on the longer side, everything that's in it kind of does belong in this movie. You had a way to like make it work. So that was actually really cool. I was very surprised, and I did check my watch a few times just to see, okay, how close are we to finishing this movie. But it wasn't like I was rushing. It was kind of more just like, all right, what part of the act are we in? I mean, that's more what I was thinking. The movie is predictable because like you're gonna know as you're watching it, you're like, oh, okay, this is what's going on. But it's not predictable in a bad way. I will say, the trailer makes you think the movie is exactly one thing, and it's partly that. But the reasons behind why they do a lot of their things, which aren't shown in the trailer, to me are actually like pretty good reasons of why they do things. So I actually really enjoyed that. And yeah, even though it's predictable, like there was a moment where I'm like, oh man, I knew this was going to happen. I knew that they were going to do it exactly the way they did it. And even though I knew it, it still made me tear up a little bit. Yeah, weird, it didn't make me tear up, but like, it was like, you guys did this in a really good way that actually worked for me, which I didn't expect was going to work. I was just like, okay, you got me there. And the cast. So if you've seen the cast of this movie, they actually mesh really well together in a way that I was just like, oh yeah, you make sense, you make sense, you make sense. The only person in the cast that's actually like, they're the lead star of this movie is Chris Pine, but with no one else in it, did it ever feel like they were trying to steal the thunder from him? It's like, you knew the pecking order and it worked for this movie. Everyone knew their place and how it worked, and it was just like, you know what? That actually, because sometimes you get a movie where it's like, oh, you have two really big actors, and it's very clear that they're both trying to fight for who's the bigger actor in this movie. In this one, it felt like everyone knew their role, and even Chris Pine, it always felt like, no, he still gave everyone else their time to shine. So I was like, you know what? That's pretty cool. I was not expecting that in this movie at all. Like, even with Chris Pine, he has his good moments, but he's not trying to be like an action star in this movie at all. So I was like, you know what? That's cool. And each one of like so we're thinking about Dungeons and Dragons, you're thinking about these role-playing games. It's always like, oh, everyone has their other place. And Chris Pine, like even in the trailer, it's like, oh, he's the planner. At no point is he ever the muscle. Even when he tries to fight, I wouldn't say he's that great of a fighter in the movie. So it's like, you know what? You did this really well. And another thing going with that idea of these characters is like, all these characters are pretty self-aware of their flaws. And I was just like, whoa, you rarely see that in movies. People are usually like, oh no, I'm better than I really am. It's like, no, everyone's actually like, they were downplaying what things they can do, but they actually have these moments where they talk about like their flaws and what they're good and what they're not good at. And it was like, it was working. I was just like, huh, okay, you got me. Like I said, it goes back to the characters meshing well together, and that actually worked. Another thing is the villain, and so there's two villains. One of them is like, you just want to see him get his comeuppance, but you're kind of like, you don't hate him. Like, I mean, you hate him, but it's like, you don't necessarily want him to die, but like, you're kind of like, yeah, you're a snake and I hate you, but yeah, you're doing your job right. And the other villain's just like, oh, she need to die. But yeah, that's basically how this movie goes, guys. I really enjoyed it. So, like I said, I surprisingly really enjoyed it. I was thinking I was going to be pissed off with this movie, but I wasn't. I was just like, you know what? That could also be when I went low expectations. Actually, I went with mid expectations. I didn't go with anything like that high, also not that low. When you see like Chris Pine in a movie, you're kind of like, and Justice Smith, you're kind of like, I kind of know where this is going. Michelle Rodriguez is not trying to burn on her, but it's like, you're on the Fast series. Some of those movies are bad. Okay, so let's go on to my score, guys. And I don't really have much negative to say about this movie, but it doesn't do anything particularly great. It does a lot of things well. So it's like, you're a solid movie, but you still has good things in it. So I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10 for good. And I actually highly recommend you go watch this movie. It was really, weirdly, really fun. I did not expect that to happen to me. And that was probably my best feeling coming out of this movie. I was like, I had a lot of fun with this, more than I thought I was going to have. But yeah, guys, those are my thoughts on this movie. My next review, and this review I know came out of nowhere because I was not expecting to review this early. I thought I was going to watch the movie on this coming Friday the 31st or the 30th, but I was able to get that early screening, so that was really cool. So my next review is going to be either Mandalorian or Picard, the newer episodes. But yeah, those should be some good reviews. I already recorded them, just haven't edited them yet. But yeah, guys, please like this video, subscribe to the channel. Let me know what you guys thought about this movie once you get a chance to watch it. And yeah, hope you guys enjoy it when you do watch it. Like I said, it's a lot of fun, so I definitely recommend you go watch it. All right, guys, thanks for watching. I'll talk to you soon.